I heal you, I release you. This is what happens when we go into your growth. This is that ache in your chest, that pain in your head, that you've done something in your past that's awful, or that you've been through something in your past that is somehow like the entire weight of who you are. It doesn't mean it's not your fault. It doesn't mean we don't take accountability. But if that past is no longer around you, if you've gotten rid of the people, this is for advanced growth. I'm careful what word I use. Do I use the word enlightenment in this case? Do I use the word sort of like moving forward, those of us moving in a forward motion? Do I use the word advanced changers, advanced self growers? Perhaps the advanced healers who have not healed themselves. This is why I've started this series. This is what it means to, when you've gotten past, but in order to even release karma, what does it even mean? What is karma? Karma is the life lessons. Karma is the experience that you have to go through yourself. You quit your job. There's definitely some karma to quitting your job. Trust me, I am not immune to karma. Believe me, I am not immune to karma. It fucked up my whole life to quit my job and go and take a huge risk. But not only does it fuck up your life, it will fuck up the lives around you in a weird way, in a way that exposes all the shit that you tried to run from, because you can never run from anything. You can never run from your past. You can't like run from your past and then repress it all away. You've got to come into this actuality that says that you are healing your past. Because really, karma is sort of interconnected. You can almost say it's like the results of your past, it's made of your past in a way, because it's so intertwined in your life lessons. One of the first steps is, and this is kind of contrary to popular belief, it's probably not the most popular first step you've heard when it comes to growth and recovery from any sort of past that you come from. And that first step is to get busy. In getting busy, what you're going to find, and this is something that I've started to do, and I've started to think of it less about addressing a stack of papers or addressing a stack of calendar invitations or calendar events, or I'm not addressing a stack of to-dos in a nice curated calendar or to-do list app, right? What I'm actually doing, and I do have technology to integrate into this, don't get me wrong, I really do, and I'll get to that, but what I actually start with is getting busy, creating busyness, because that is why gurus and meditation teachers and yoga teachers and all of that, I'm definitely involved in getting back into yoga in person. It's been awesome, and been getting into meditation in person over the last couple of years, little by little. But even like virtually or metaphysically, or people that you're connected with, out of concern for you, there's been multiple teachers in my life that I've had, like close friends, relationships, whatever the case, that they are concerned about being busy. And I think it comes from an old adage that being busy is somehow the opposite of the state of being that we're trying to get to. That's not at all what being busy is. Being busy means that you are actually active. And that's one of the things that took me years to learn to integrate with any meditation practice that I've learned and recreated for myself, that I've worked through. Any breath work, any introspection, because the two things I think that we really overlook in meditation are introspection and busyness, and integrating these, interconnecting these two abstract things, or these two philosophies. It gets pretty abstract, because what happens is when you get busy, you forget to sit a certain way properly. You forget to have a proper set of uninterrupted, silent, downtime circumstances to meditate. But what really needs to happen is that you're able to be busy and active while integrating meditation. We've got it wrong. We really have got it wrong in meditation. It's not about trying to sort of have this ridiculous setup in your life that you can sit silently for hours. And all of us are changing direction and finding that that's no longer the case. But we're doing it in ways that are misaligned with value, because we were all so focused on just trying to be right, and we all had our own philosophies about meditation. When this philosophy started in spirituality, when it became kind of very out in the open and everybody started talking about it, right? But we've all had to hold on to our values in order to even want any sort of life experience. It's a lens. But what really it comes down to is that being busy, any kind of sports, mindfulness, work. What is work today? Work has changed so much in life. Work is side hustle, work is community, work is stacking money that you earn. It's no longer just this 9 to 5 salary anymore. That's not all it is. And if you do have some of that, you're going to have work in between that. You're going to have work within that, sub work, and work surrounding it. But being busy is probably the most underestimated spiritual teaching, and I'm going to do more on being busy, talk more about it really, because it's probably going to be the most important skill that you learn to integrate in your spiritual practice. And then you're going to have introspection while you're busy. It's going to give you like a space in your mind where you are burning energy, you're physically moving through things throughout your day, throughout your home, throughout your town, throughout your city, throughout running errands, throughout just anything that you do, your daily routine, whatever that is, throughout your lack of routine. But you're going to be moving through things. I have to start with from the very beginning about getting busy, because it will be important as a first step, but this is just sort of the overview as to why we care about being busy. And as you burn your energy, it will be easier for you to introspect and think more clearly. Setting up an introspective domain in your brain, in your mind, in your space is going to be the most important part of all of this. And so what happens as you get busier and as you're able to think clearly, you will not recognize your present self from your past self. You will then be able to, it's not so much about not taking accountability for the things that sort of happened that you may have allowed happen, that you let happen, which is definitely, if you can understand that, how you let it happen, that's really why we introspect. That's why we create space to understand our past, to reflect forward, and to disidentify with our past self. because what we need to do is realize, it's more of a realization that we have to set our bodies and our minds up for having, which is just that you're explaining your past to your present self, where you went wrong, the mistakes you made, the things you allowed, the boundaries you didn't set, all of those things you are explaining. You're going back in time from the self that you are now to your past self. It's kind of like if I could tell my past self one thing, if I can tell the past little girl I used to be something, I would tell her that being understood by other people, for instance, is not as important as understanding yourself. That's definitely a not so personal yet real life example of what I would tell my past self, right? That's definitely true. Like, we've got to stop expecting other people to understand us. That is the first step, is you clearly will be able to address that, to try to stop explaining your past to others, because the others are outside of yourself. They are not in yourself. They are not even within your life, really. Like, they may even be a part of integrating for a time or for a short temporary bit of your life. They may be a part of like an area of your life, like entertainment, or even some of the practices you may be doing. Maybe you're in like a religious circle or spiritual circle. Maybe you're in a school setting, a work environment. Maybe you're in a college class with these people. Maybe you're sort of like in a community vibe with people. You've gotten yourself into an interest-based situation with people where you're both interested, or you're all interested in the same thing as a group, or a relationship, or a one-on-one, or a chosen family, or anything of that nature. Maybe people, they may not be as close as a chosen family. They may be more distant, like friends you meet in a yoga class, for instance, or they may be as close as a chosen family based on shared interest. But at the same time, a lot of that stuff that's going to happen and come up for you, these could even be people that you've known since you were a baby, and your parents and their friends happen to be interested and have the same interest. So they stayed chosen family for 20, 30 years, and they happen to know you since you were a baby. So they are your aunt, they are your uncle to you, even though you have no proof that they're blood. They don't even have to be blood, but because your parents and their friends showed the same interest in integrating life so well, in that sense, that is going to be how you are. You'll have to excuse my moving around a little bit. I'm kind of like, this is my little studio back here. I do a lot of adjustments on muscles and working on a lot of different cores and stuff. So I do adjust from time to time in the video. I've got my coffee here. And yeah, that's kind of it for this lesson here. But the key takeaway is going to be to integrate your introspection better with getting busy and explaining the past to your present self. That's really what this comes down to. It's an overview, really. It's a very messy and off the cuff overview, but there it is. Kind of the introduction, kind of the beginning.